All right, folks, so this video is going to show you how to create parts that are designed to fit inside of an existing hole or something like that. So I'm going to do this twice in this video. I'm going to create a sort of shelf that will go through these two holes. It'll slide right in like a tray. And then I will create some pegs that will fit through these holes and will extend it down to that shelf. But will not go beyond it. So you'll see both how to do this. So we'll start with the little shelf here. So this is to start with. You will just create a sketch on one of these faces here, and we can take a look at that sketch by right-clicking and saying View Normal to Sketch Plane. And that will turn us, so now we're looking straight on at that. So this is very helpful. And you can hit Shift S7 to flip back and forth. So that is up to you. And you can even hit N on the keyboard instead of right-clicking to view the sketch normal to. That's where the N comes from, N for normal. But anyways, so from here, we want to sort of steal the size from this shape that's already here. And what we can do is we can find the offset tool right here, which we could also trigger by pressing O on the keyboard, but I'm going to click on the button. And then I'm going to just pick these 4 edges. Now it's saying offset cannot be created at this distance. Well, that's because this arrow here is going too far and it's getting confused, but let's just drag this arrow. We're going to drag it till it's just visible, but we're not going to worry so much about that dimension right now. And then I'm going to hit Enter on the keyboard. Okay, now it's going to say, all right, how big do you actually want to make this? So I'm going to make this have a particular offset. I want this shelf to be able to slide in and out of here. So we go to our tolerances here, and if you're in the MYP class, this can be found at the bottom of the Developing Ideas document way down here at the end. I think it's the second to last page. It says, see this site for info on how much space to leave between parts. That takes you right here. So we want this to be able to slide through. We want this one to be a loose fit. So I'm going to use this distance. And something we have to realize is when we're offsetting a rectangle, if we offset it by that distance, what you see here, so I'm going to type 0.508. If I hit enter, it's doing that on the top. The distance from here to here is 0.508, but the distance from here to here is also 0.508. So this is going to be an extra loose fit because we have double the distance. So what we really need to do, if we want the overall wiggle room to be 0.508, we need to double click on this dimension. Oh, is it letting me do it? There we go. Hey, come on. Oh. We will hit escape to get out of the offset command. There we go. Double click on the dimension. I could have clicked it off there too. And I am going to type, I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to do 0.127, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. No, 0.254. Sorry, one of my neighbors was making noises and it was distracting me. So there we go. And that is half of 0.508. Now we have 0.254 on the top plus 0.254 on the bottom for a total wiggle room of 0.508. So that's just something to think about when you're using the offset command. Now I'll accept the sketch. And if we made it a little smaller, if we did the 0.508, it would just be extra wiggly, but sometimes that matters. So I exited my sketch. I'm going to do extrude. And I'm going to hover around until just the middle part lights up here. I'm going to click. And now we are extruding. So I'm going to flip my main extrusion this way. I want it to go through here, and I want it to go right up to this surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the end condition here to up to face. And I'm going to select this face, and it's going to go up to that face. But here's the other thing. I would also like it to stick out this way a little bit, like away in the direction it was originally going. So I'm going to add a second end position. So now it's sticking out there. And this one, I'm gonna leave it on blind, which means I can type a number. And let's see, I want it to be, 25 millimeters is actually pretty good, to about 2.5 centimeters. So that gives us some room to be able to pull that out. Let's just do 20. We'll do it a little shorter. There we go. And I'll click the check mark. So that has created a new piece. And what you might have noticed is that's a different color. That's blue because we were on new, and that's good. We didn't want this to be attached to anything else. So that is the difference between new. If we had clicked add or something like that, it might have sort of glued it to another piece. And that can be important sometimes. We want to avoid that usually. We want separate pieces, but sometimes we want things to be merged. So I'm going to use a similar principle. Let me reset my view. Shift F7 or Shift 7 does the same thing as going over here and choosing isometric. So that's another keyboard shortcut for you. So I'm gonna take a look at this top now. I'm gonna make 3 pegs. They'll all be the same, but I'm gonna make a sketch here. So I'm making a sketch right on the top surface, and I'm gonna use the same exact principle that I used before. I'm gonna use the offset tool. And so what I'm gonna do is I picked offset, and then I'm gonna hover until the edge of the circle lights up. And again, I need to adjust this so it goes in towards the inside. So last time it was going too big in one direction. You just pretty much slide it till it looks like what you want. Then you can hit enter, and it will ask you for the distance. So again, we'll remember this number, and we want to cut it in half. So we have half for each side. So it actually really, the next size down is the half distance. So I'm going to do 0.254. When in doubt, think to yourself, would it be better if this was extra loose or extra tight? Because oftentimes if you're trying to make something that slides through something else, you're better off going smaller than bigger. So in this case, if we wanted to really make sure this really slides through, maybe we really want to be safe. Instead of taking the risk of putting it too close, let's turn off the offset tool. Let's actually make this one really big. So I'm going to go 0.508. So, let's make sure it really slides through there. I don't want these pegs to be getting stuck. When in doubt, make sure there's a bigger gap and you'll have a wigglier situation. So, and I'm going to repeat that for each of these. So we'll offset this circle, flip it, enter. Let's type 0.508. So again, that'll be a nice wiggly fit in there. Let's do it for this one. Flip it, enter, 0.508, boom. And click the check mark. And now we can use the same exact principle we just did for here. So I'm going to go to extrude. I'm going to pick these 3 inner circles. Now look at that, they're going the wrong way. Notice they're all different colors because it's creating brand new parts for each of those. And my face is covering it, but these are appearing down there. And look at that, they're bolded. These are the new parts we'll be creating in our little parts browser. But I want to flip these, so I'm going to hit opposite direction. And I want to make sure right now it looks like they're going inside of this piece a little bit. I don't want that. So I'm going to change my end condition again. We're going to go up to face, and I'm going to click this face. So they're going to go up to that. Now look at this. Uh-oh. Everything turned blue, but we want those separate. Onshape thinks, oh, he's making it touch this part. He clearly wants to stick them together, but not right now, Onshape. Nice try. I clicked new here versus add. So you see the difference. Add is going to add it to the blue thing. New is going to make sure all those pieces are completely separate. And that is what I want. So I'm not going to have this go in the opposite direction because the idea for my toy here is that once you put them in order to release them, you'd either have to tip the whole toy upside down or you'd have to pull out the blue slider and all the pieces would fall out the bottom. So I'm going to leave them like that. So there are different applications here for different situations, but this is going to be how you can create some shapes that fit through other shapes and make sure there's a little bit of tolerance in there. And again, when in doubt, go a little smaller. Make sure you're paying attention to whether you're adding new material, whether you're adding to material, or whether you're creating new parts when you're doing the extrude. And you can also take advantage of the different options, the different end type options in the extrude, such as up to face. There's also up to part. Vertex would be up to like an edge or a corner. Up to next would be up to the next line that it runs into. Symmetric means it goes in the same in both directions, and through all goes through everything. So there's lots and lots of different options there depending on what you want to do. But I hope this helps some people.